Good morning, everyone. I have to tell you, being at the game yesterday, as I was sitting watching, I was thinking about what kind of review this game was going to get from me based on how the Nottingham Forest game had gone and so on, and what I was feeling in the stadium. But given the roller coaster that we went through, it almost just fades away when you actually get a great result in the end. Put it out there straight away. If I'm being, absolutely fair, I think Leeds were unlucky in the end. I didn't think Leeds played badly. I thought they played quite well. They were pressing, they were pushing, they were aggressive. They had lots of endeavour and attitude. Something that I feel that we've been lacking an awful lot of, and I touched on that in the Nottingham Forest video. So I think they were quite unlucky. But am I happy with the result? Absolutely. I am over the moon to finish this part of the season on a win, albeit coming from behind, albeit coming right at the end of the game. But, it was so important to get some kind of result yesterday. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to moan about that aspect of it. But in terms of that game, my God, what a roller coaster that was. When the first half kicked off and we were playing, I honestly felt a little bit like Forest. I felt that we were doing all right. I thought we were having a, decent bit of play. The players looked up for it and so on. But you cannot get away from the fact that our defence is so shaky. We are clearly missing Romero's leadership back there and his composure, because for me, our defence looks so all over the place. We are weak in the tackle. We are slow to press. We are out of position. We are playing players onside that shouldn't be played onside. Our passing is abysmal. And to be fair, that's probably pretty much throughout the team, not just defence, but just focusing on the defence for a minute. It was so shoddy to end up losing the first goal. I'm like, it was just so obvious that was going to happen. We're pushing, we're doing all right, we're playing quite well, and then all of a sudden, one mistake, 1-0 down, really weak. And I was like, this is just, absolute dross. Every time the ball gets played back to Hugo, I panic. What's he going to do? Every time he plays it out to the left, he always overplays it. When he plays it up the pitch, it always goes to one of their players. And it must be me. It's probably just me, but I just lack confidence in his ability to kick a ball to one of our own players or to play it out into an advanced position. Don't get me wrong. I think Hugo's probably been one of our most consistent players over the last sort of few years. He is probably the best goalkeeper we've had since Jennings. He has been a great servant to the club. He's kept us in games umpteen times. He's a great shot stopper, but I just feel so worried every time he goes to kick a ball. Especially when you've got Eric Dyer, and I want to be honest, Eric Dyer has come on. He's improved so much under Conte. So much so that we're all calling for him to be in the England team ahead of some others. And yet, he's so prone to mistakes. Getting out of position, playing the ball back, loose passes. He's always going to have that. And that worries me. When you then partner him with Sanchez, who is equally as prominent to having a mistake in him, it's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Sanchez, Romero, okay. Dyer, Romero, okay. Dyer and Sanchez, forget it. It's just not working. That just does not work. They cannot play together because neither of them seem to trust each other, and both of them can make a bloody big mistake. And then behind them, you've got Hugo who can't kick, and that just then worries the life out of me. I'm going to move on to Davis, who, whenever we talk about players that are not good enough for this club, we always go, or people always go, Dyer, Sanchez, Sessegnon, Davis, and he's always in there. But I've got to be honest, I think Davis is a great squad player, someone that you want in the team. He's a really good leader. We've seen under Conte that he can get forward. We've seen under Conte that he can actually score goals. And I think it's a little bit unfair sometimes, the feeling that against him. I do worry that he gets lumped into that because he's Welsh and not some kind of top foreign superstar. I think he don't get as much credit as he probably deserves. And this is just my opinion. And like I've said many, many times, football is about opinions, about how other people feel about it. So you're more than welcome to have a different opinion to that. But this is how I feel. I think he's a player that I would always want to keep in my squad, until he gets too old. But that's just the way it is in my view. Then let's move on to poor old Emerson Royale, who has become everyone's favourite player to hate on. And I'm a great underdog supporter. I always support the underdog. So I feel so bad for the guy. The cheers when he went off and being replaced by Matt Doherty. Matt Doherty was almost embarrassing. The player must really feel that. That must really cut. But he's not doing himself any favours. His passing is woeful. He cannot cross the ball. He's, to a certain extent, at the beginning of the game, I thought he was doing all right. He was getting some good positions and he was bombing up the wing and he was really trying to get into the right places. And he was getting there, trying to take people on. But his crossing was so poor and he was giving the ball away and then he was getting caught out of position. And he's just having an absolute terrible time. And he needs a break. He needs to be out of the team. Because if he doesn't, he's going to get so much abuse. Which I think is terrible when you're abusing your own players. Because that doesn't help anybody. Again, just my opinion. And people are entitled to show their displeasure. But it's really hard to motivate yourself when you are getting an arse kicking left, right and centre. I'm pretty sure of that. The boos at half time, again, personally I don't boo. I'm not that sort of person. I understand why people do. They're paying a lot of money to come and watch this team. They're getting paid loads and loads of money to perform, and when they're not performing, it's really difficult to hold your displeasure. And I absolutely get that as well. But I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps the players and all the rest of it. But Conte needs to understand we cannot just keep going down this road. His tactics are very negative. And when you see us going forward with the front three like we've got and the attacking opportunities, we play so much better on the front foot. So when you're trying to play on the break and you're trying to soak up pressure with players who are your weakness, that feels like the wrong move. It really does. And people get frustrated seeing the ball going backwards all the time when you're chasing the game. It's just really, really difficult and really, really frustrating. And we are fans with a different view and a different attitude to the players, to the manager, to the owners. And there was a few chants of "we want Levy out" ringing around, which again I understand. Lots of people feel that way. Me personally, I just always think, be careful what you wish for. If we're going to get taken over, I want someone who's going to really care about the club and not just look at it as another investment opportunity like ENIC have. So, it was just a real roller coaster of emotions in that game. I was at half-time, I was thinking, I'm going to open up with, these players don't deserve us fans. I left home at 7:10 yesterday morning. I got home at I got in at 10:30 at night. Just to be able to be there on the day and support my club. And we're not the only ones. South Dorset Spurs took 40 people to that match. And I also saw Curnow Spurs were on their way, and Somerset Spurs was another one that had a big bus. Portsmouth Spurs took a load of people, and I know there's lots of people come from up north as well. So there's lots of people travelling from lots of different places to support this club. And they even said at half-time the amount of new official supporters clubs they've got. You can't call us glory hunters because we've had no glory. So the club is well supported and loved around the world. And we put ourselves out for this club. And it would just be nice to have that feeling reciprocated through the performances that we really, really need. Second half, the game went on, and it was, again, a roller coaster of emotions. Going 2-1 down. I was like, oh, here we go. 2-2, 3-2 down, and then you're thinking, that's it. This is just pants. It's over. We're going to go into this break with another loss to a team who we feel we should be beating, and then of course that magical piece of luck. Bentancur strikes the ball, hits the defender, deflected, goes in. Relief around the stadium, and it was at that point that we then started to believe that we could actually win the game. And the fourth goal, the one that won the game, was a absolutely fantastic piece of play. Some really good play there. Harry turns the ball around the corner. Kulusevski drifts in there, takes everyone on, plays it back. Bentancur finishes it beautifully, and that's it. We're then in heaven, aren't we? They get a player sent off, but even at that point of playing 10 men, being 4-3 up, I'm still sitting there thinking, come on, let's blow the whistle, let's get this game finished. Because you never know that whether your defence is going to let you down and you're going to lose the ball at the last minute and just give it away. That's how worried you get as a Spurs fan. The guy next to me sitting there with his phone on, counting down the 4 minutes of added time, and I'm sitting there looking at it like, come on, how much longer? Because you the panic that you feel because you just are waiting for them to let you down. It is so difficult as a fan. I honestly think my heart is going to stop some days watching this team. It's never hard. Tottenham Hotspur, I said it before, I say it again, doing it the hard way since 1882. It is just making life so difficult, so difficult. But for me, I am so happy that we're now into an international break, and I'm not a fan of international football. I probably will get sucked into watching the England games, as probably some of the others, because it's football and it'll be on. I'm not a great fan of the World Cup being in the middle of a season. I'm not a great fan of it being in Qatar, although I do think it would be great to see the Middle East actually get represented in something like this and expand the game into that region, because I think they deserve to see the passion and the love for football that we've got. But I don't think it's a great idea the way it's done. FIFA, but anyway, that's a whole other can of worms to open. But yeah, so I'm happy that we're going into this break still in the top four, still in the Champions League, and hopefully we can now spend some time looking at players in the World Cup and see who comes available, and maybe make some signings in the January transfer window. If we can get a couple of transfers in of the quality of Kulu and Bentancur, then that would be fantastic, because those two guys have been immense for Tottenham. They've probably been the best January summer signings since Nelson and Saha. That's how good they've been, and that's a bit of tongue in cheek, but absolutely fantastic. I'm over the moon, and hopefully we can really do something and build on where we are, because we cannot afford to start dropping down the league. We've seen anyone can beat anybody, anyone can get a draw anywhere, and it's up to us to try to pull those results together. We've got to work, and Conte really needs to start thinking about how he's going to get the best out of these players that he's got, or getting better players to play the system that he's playing, because that defence is just not built for that. Anyway, that's a review of the game. This is the last video until after the World Cup. So I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to all the people that have been watching my videos, all the people that have been commenting. I do try to comment back to you all. I really do appreciate the support that you guys give me, even meeting a few of you out and about and stuff like that. That's been great. I am told, and I've never been one for it, but I am told that I need people to do a thumbs up on the videos, because that helps. I've also been told I need more subscribers. I've only got 1,255, which is 40 up since I've been to Marseille. So thank you to all those people that have subscribed. But when I look at all the analytics, 60% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribers to the channel. So it would be good if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Like I say, give it a thumbs up, because that also helps the algorithms put my videos out to more people, so more people then get to watch it, which would be nice and make me feel all nice and cozy and loved. Anyway, if I don't do another video, which I'm not planning to do, I'd just like to say, have a great Christmas, have a lovely New Year, keep the faith, and up the Spurs.